Are you interested in community service and policy-based governance? Or at least two of those three? The First UU Nominating Committee is continuing to look for individuals to serve on the First UU Board of Trustees or Nominating Committee, which puts together a slate of candidates for the board. We already have found several excellent candidates for the board term, which begins in June 2024. However, because of the large number of vacancies, we still need a few more candidates. If you're interested in serving on the board or know of someone in our church who you think would be a good candidate, please stop by the board table at House and Hall after the service. You can also email the nominating committee regarding your interest at nomcom@austinuu.org. First UU's resident arts group, Unwound Sound, is proud to present Boston's Duo Ami on April 19th at 8 p.m. in our sanctuary. Duo Ami will perform in her own key a celebration of cello and piano works by women, and a free will offering will benefit the organization Black Mamas. If you're interested in learning more about the church and becoming a member, sign up for our free Path to Membership classes. You'll meet with other potential members and church leaders, hear how to get more connected, and learn more about the history of First UU and Unitarian Universalism as a whole. Breakfast is provided and childcare is available. Sign up by scanning a QR code in the foyer of House and Hall or by emailing info@austinuu.org. The next class will be on Saturday, May 4th from 9 a.m. to noon. We hope to see you there. Please join us today at 12:30 right here, right after the service for our Public Affairs Forum. Today's speaker will be Austin Mayor Kirk Watson, and he'll give us an update on where he thinks our great city stands on various issues. Please join us for this timely and important discussion. Have you been joining First UU online for Sunday services and would like to get to know the ministers in the church a little better? Would you like to find out about other opportunities to participate online? Have we got a deal for you? Join Reverend Chris and Reverend Michelle for lunch online over Zoom every third Thursday of the month, every third Tuesday of the month at 12:30 p.m. Central Time. The first lunch online will be Tuesday, April 16th. Log in while you have lunch or snack and join us for a fun and informative conversation. If you are watching online, the Zoom link is above the video for the service on Facebook, or you can also send email to info@austinuu.org to request it. To receive our weekly email newsletter, go to austinuu.org and scroll down to the subscription box near the bottom of the page. Now, let all of us who have gathered in beloved community, whether in virtual space or in person, join our spirits in worship together.
Good morning. Whether you are joining us online or here in this sanctuary, welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Austin, Texas. We are a spiritual community dedicated to a free and responsible search for meaning, truth, and beauty. I am the Reverend Michelle LaGrave, the co-lead interim minister here. I'm a large white woman with short hair and glasses, and I am wearing a rainbow stole. My pronouns are she, her, and it is a great joy to be here with all of you today. I especially want to welcome you if you are new or visiting with us today. If you are joining us remotely, and if you can, please say hello in the comments and let us know from where you are viewing the service. If you are here in person, please join us for social hour after the service, and yes, there will be food. Either way, we invite you to fill out the online worship form at austinuu.org, where you will click on Worship and then follow the link to the form. We would love to get to know you all better. As we work to create beloved community, we welcome all who would join us in building a better world with more love, more justice, and more peace. We welcome all who would join us in growing in mind and spirit. We welcome all who would join us in tearing down systems of oppression of all kinds. We welcome all who would join their purposes to ours in a loving spirit of right relationship. We come from a long tradition of seeing a spark of the divine in every person. And so it is in this tradition, this living tradition, that I invite you to greet the holy among us, either in the comments or by turning to those around you.
Good morning. I'm Angela Smith, pronoun she, her. I'm a petite, feisty, adventure-loving woman who was probably a drag queen in a former life. Or at least I lust after their outfits. Please join me now in the words for the chalice lighting. This is the flame we hold in our hearts as we strive for justice for everyone. This is the light we shine upon systems of oppression until they are no more. This is the warmth we share with one another as our struggle becomes our salvation. Our call to worship is by the Reverend Sherry Woodbury. Welcome all who seek renewal in a weary world. Welcome all who come with love and energy to share. Welcome to those who worry for the future. Welcome each one who is grateful for today. Know that in this place you are not alone. In community where we share our strength with one another and we keep the flame of love burning bright. Know that in this place responsibility is shared. Here tradition holds us. Ancestors shine a light from the past. Here the young lift their bright faces and beckon us onward. Take my hand, and we can go on together. Please rise either in body or spirit and let us sing together number 360, Here We Have Gathered.
One of the things that binds First UU together as a religious community is that the congregation has a common purpose. This common purpose is the mission. The congregation wrote it together and put it up on the wall in the sanctuary. Every Sunday we say it together so that we might more readily carry it in our hearts with us throughout the week. Let us say it together now. Together we nourish souls, transform lives, and do justice to build the beloved community.
When you're down and troubled and you need some love and care, and nothing is going right, close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. You've got a friend. If the sky above you grows dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind begins to blow, keep your head together and call my name out loud. Soon you'll hear me knocking at your door. You can sing it with me. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You've got a friend. Now, ain't it good to know that you've got a friend when people can be so cold? They'll hurt you, yes, and desert you, and take your soul if you let them. Oh, but don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You've got a friend. You've got a friend. Ain't it good to know you've got a friend? Ain't it good to know you've got a friend? Thanks.
This morning we have a very special treat for the Story for All Ages. Miss Kitty Litter, ATX, is an Austin treasure. She has been a lovable Austin drag artist for over 3 decades and has represented our city fabulously. Miss Kitty appeared in the online reality series Camp Wanakiki, where she was a fan favorite. She was a featured artist on a drag cruise with a major cruise ship line, and she even found time to perform for First UU before and during the pandemic. Despite being personally attacked by InfoWars and religious right hate groups for doing drag story time at the Austin Public Library, Miss Kitty Litter ATX continues to spread her UU message of hope and goodwill to all. Miss Kitty Litter.
Thank you. Good morning. Look at all these beautiful faces. Now, I know some of y'all have heard of the Little Mermaid. Yes? Well, I'm the not so Little Mermaid, but I like tacos, and that's all I'm going to say about it. Now, before I get started, I usually like to tell a little joke. So, how many Unitarians does it take to change a light bulb? None, because that light bulb is perfect and loved just as it is. Okay? At this time, we would like to invite children of all ages to come up for story time. If you notice, I did bring my cat with me today. Her name is Ernestine. Our story today happens to be about a cat. And so props are everything, y'all. Our story today is called This Story Is Not About a Kitten, and it is written by Randall Dessine and Carson Ellis. Who here likes cats, by the way? Me too. This story is not about a kitten. A kitten, hungry and dirty and scared and alone, meowing sadly and needing a home. Kind of looks like Ernestine, huh? This story is not about the dog. Anybody here like dogs? Me too. Who slept when he heard the kitten, hungry and dirty, scared and alone, meowing sadly and needing a home. This story is not about the dog's people who listened, or the dog who stopped when he heard the kitten, hungry and dirty, scared and alone, meowing sadly and needing a home. This story was not about the woman who held the dog, for the dog's people who listened, or the dog who stopped when it heard the kitten, hungry and dirty, scared and alone, meowing sadly and needing a home. This story was not about the twins who brought a box, or the woman who held the dog, or the dog's people who listened, or the dog who stopped when it heard the kitten, hungry and dirty, scared and alone, meowing sadly and needing a home. This story is not about the man drinking tea who offered some milk, or the twins who brought a box, or the woman who held the dog who stopped, or the people who listened and quickly, carefully coaxed the kitten. Who clawed and hissed and fought a big fight. Until I wonder what happens next, y'all. We'll call her Amber, everyone agreed, but who could take her home? The landlord says no pets. We're moving. I'm allergic. Could we? Now, this story is not about the child who asked, could we? or the man who offered some milk, or the twins who bought a box, or the women who held the dog, or the dog's people who listened, or the dog who stopped when it heard the kitten, is full-bellied and clean, no longer alone, purring happily and home. This story is about the stopping and the listening and the holding and the bringing and the offering and the asking and working together that it takes sometimes to get there. Amber is the sweetest. Can I visit her every day? Yep. And Gesundheit, what a happy little buddy she is. I can't believe the two of you lived next door this whole time and we never met. More lemonade? Yes, yes. See. And that is the end of our story. Do y'all like that story? I think really what it ended up being about, not just the kitten, but about community. And I would like to thank you for putting the unity in community, not just today, but always. Thank you so much for sharing story time with Miss Kitty. At this time, I believe that some of y'all are released to the playground. And the rest of you, stay tuned. More to come. Thanks for having me today.
Each year, the members of First Unitarian Universalist Church of Austin select a group of nonprofits that are building the beloved community in our area. On the second Sunday of the month, we take up an offering that we give away to support these organizations and feature a representative who highlights the great work of one of them. If you're with us online, you can go to austinuu.org and click on Second Sunday Special Offering in the drop-down box. Here in the sanctuary, the ushers will gratefully accept the monthly special offering after a few words from Serena Hefs, whom we are thrilled to invite to let us know a little more about Planned Parenthood of Greater Texas.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Serena Hapes. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the Community Outreach Specialist for Planned Parenthood of Greater Texas in Austin. Thank you for partnering with Planned Parenthood for this month's service offering. We are honored to partner with you. Most of you are very familiar with Planned Parenthood, and many of you are active supporters. We thank you very much. I want to share an update on Planned Parenthood in Austin today. Since Texas banned abortion statewide after the overturning of Roe v. Wade, we are fiercely advocating to restore abortion. This is a top priority. In the meantime, our 4 health centers in Austin are expanding access to sexual and reproductive health care. Specifically, we've added weekend hours so that 7 days a week, one of our health centers is open for appointments, whether it's birth control, sexually transmitted infections testing and treatment, annual screenings and exams, breast and cervical cancer screenings, HIV prevention, gender-affirming hormone therapy, and more. Access to health care is urgent in Texas, with the highest number of uninsured residents in the United States. 20% of Travis County residents ages 18 to 65 do not have health insurance, and these rates are higher in communities of color due to longstanding inequities and disparities. Everyone is welcome at Planned Parenthood, and we're proud to be a trusted resource for LGBTQIA+ patients. This past year, compared to 2022, our health centers provided 21% more clinical visits, 25% more STI tests, 28% more telehealth medicine appointments, and 46% more gender-affirming hormone therapy. While we fight to restore abortion access, we'll provide as much sexual and reproductive health care as possible for the Austin community. Donations make this possible. Thank you for standing with us so we can stand strong. If you're interested in learning more about our services or how to get involved, please see me at our table during social hour or check out ppgreatertx.org. Thank you.
Your offerings have been given and received in love. Thank you for your generosity. This is the time in our service when we center ourselves together. We breathe together. And breathing together, we sense one another's loving presence. Breathing in and breathing out, we follow our breath to a deeper place inside, a place of greater wisdom, a place where a spark of the divine resides in each of us. Breathing together, we enter into a time of sacred silence, all the while remembering that nowhere is the world fully silent. I invite you now to light a candle if you are so moved. Candles representing sorrow, joy, hope, remembrance, resilience, whatever it is you need to honor during this time. And as we light these candles, I invite you to keep in your mind and heart the members of our community who are ill or in sorrow, and those who are celebrating joys. Let us hold the silence together during this meditative time.
There are places I'll remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better, some have gone, and some remain. All the places had their moments with lovers and friends. I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I've loved them all. But of all these friends and lovers, there is no one compares with you, and these memories lose their meaning when I think of love as something new. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before, I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I loved you more. There are places I'll remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better, some have gone, and some remained. All these places had their moments with lovers and friends that went before. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I loved them all. In my life, I loved them all.
And we light one last candle for all those for whom there is no one to light a candle.
Good morning. If you are new to the church and I haven't had the pleasure of getting to meet you yet, I am Reverend Chris Jimerson, settled co-lead minister here at the church. I am a 61-year-old white male with light brownish hair with a few gray streaks growing more and more every day, it seems. My pronouns are he, him. As many of you know, I have been out on at least partial leave after my spouse Wayne went on home hospice about 1 month ago. Reverend Michelle and I were talking recently about this service on interdependence, and especially that we wanted to focus on our interdependence with one another and with humankind more generally. So we thought it was important that I talk about my situation and how that relates to the church, because church, religious community can be a laboratory on how we embrace that interdependence in healthy, sustaining, creative, life-giving, and life-fulfilling ways. Now, we often talk about interdependence in terms of interconnectedness, and many of us sometimes experience that vast interconnectedness in a way that seems transcendent. And I think that's true. I think it's an important part of our interdependence. I think, though, also our interdependence involves how we need each other. We all need help sometimes, and helping each other and asking for that help can be a part of the wonder and awe of our interdependence also. I have really come to understand that more deeply during this time. I need help sometimes. Wayne and I are so grateful for the love and support this church has expressed to us. I'm so grateful to our local ministers, Reverend Joanna Fontaine Crawford and soon-to-be Reverend Carrie Holly Hurt, who stepped in and led worship at a time when I couldn't possibly do it. I'm grateful to Lee Legault, Reverend Lee Legault, for offering to provide pastoral support for the church. And I am so grateful to Reverend Michelle and our wonderful church staff for keeping this place going and living out our mission. And Wayne and I have so needed the help and support of our family and loved ones and the wonderful folks at Hospice Austin. We're especially grateful to my younger brother, Gerald, and his family. There was a point at which I am not sure how we would have made it through without them. So, here is our current situation. The care and treatment to help with Wayne's quality of life seem to have also helped him stabilize physically and have made him more ambulatory. In fact, we were talking with the hospice doctor the other day, and the doctor said sometimes the support and care that get provided to help with quality of life actually can extend life, to which my ever-practical spouse replied, "Well, I hope so, because I have a lot of things on my to-do list I'd still like to get done." I'm hoping having some more time with me and our wonderful Basenji dogs is on that list somewhere. So, given that Wayne is more stable now, I am planning to come back to church ministry in the coming week, right after this, with a few caveats that you all need to know about. It'll have to be on an altered schedule. Wayne cannot drive, and he needs me to go with him to his various appointments for care. My capacity may be limited. When you go through something like this, you are always processing the stress and the grief and the background, and that kind of takes up the space for other things. So, for instance, both Wayne and I have been finding that we have short-term memory deficits, and we just have less mental focus and acuity and stamina, shorter attention spans. In fact, Wayne and I both have an iPad, and we both have managed to lose our iPads in the past few weeks. That's okay, they showed back up. Wayne's was in a file box under a bunch of mail he had thrown in there to read later, and my iPad showed up in the refrigerator. I'll try to only put food items in the refrigerator here at the church. So things are a bit uncertain right now, and finally, you need to know that things could change rapidly, forcing me to go back out on leave. So I need your help. I need to ask for your patience. You see, we live in this ultra-capitalistic society that teaches us to value productivity over taking care of ourselves and one another. And so when one of us is incapacitated, we can sometimes think that means other folks have to work harder, longer, be more productive. As a spiritual community, I want to ask your help in saying no to that. No to demands for increased productivity during difficult times at the expense of our bodies, souls, and indeed our very spirit. I learned this the hard way. After our former lead minister, Meg, had to retire, I tried to continue doing my job and a large part of hers too, and that was not sustainable, and I got very sick. Let's not do that to Reverend Michelle and our staff. Let's not let them do that to themselves. So I need your help. During this time that I may not be at full capacity, instead of asking Reverend Michelle and our staff to do more, ask instead, what can they let go? Where can they go slower? Ask what you might do to help make that possible. Be patient if their response time to emails and phone messages is a little slower than usual. And know that this church, you all, are still doing wonderful things, including some new ones. Just recently, we launched a lay pastoral care associates plan that will help us all take care of one another better in this church. You'll be hearing more about that. And as you heard earlier, Reverend Michelle and I are launching Lunch Online. The first one is this coming Tuesday at 12:30. So our folks who join us mainly online can learn more about us in the church, and we can learn more about your needs. So let's set up any ministries and initiatives that we start for success by, during this time of uncertainty, taking more time if needed, rather than trying to rush them while a minister and church staff are running just to keep up. We'll also bring in more help if it becomes needed. To paraphrase my therapist, our interdependence gives us the spiritual power to say no, or at least not just yet. Our interdependence gives us the spiritual power to know that together we will still be nourishing souls, transforming lives, and doing justice to build the beloved community. I am so grateful to be bound up in that spiritual power of interdependence with each and all of you. Blessed be.
Good morning. My name is Kinsey Shackelford. I use she, her pronouns. I am a white queer woman wearing a yellow shirt that says Moody and rainbow sneakers. And I am happy to say that it's New Member Sunday! So, all of our new members, I see some of them out here, if you would like to come up and be recognized, we can all stand right here. And I have these little things for you to read off of. We're gonna say some stuff, I'm gonna say some stuff, y'all are gonna say some stuff. And it's gonna be a great time welcoming our new members, so come on up. Yeah. Yay. Have it? You want one? Get in here. Here we go. Absolutely. We're sharing? Okay. Wonderful. And I think we have slides to accompany this, yes? Yeah, we have slides. Okay. So, if you don't have one of these new member recognition packets, please follow along on the slides. What is this church? It is not the building, except to the extent that we have chosen it and made it ours and adorned it with the fruits of our time, treasure, and talents. It is not the ministers, except to the extent that we ask them to inspire us and work together with us toward our goals. It is not music, except to the extent that we are lifted by it, and that we make it when we blend our voices together to produce sounds lovelier than any one of us could make alone. It is not even beliefs, for we Unitarian Universalists have no single unifying belief, only the combined beliefs of each one of us. This church is the people. Without me, without you, this church is nothing. It doesn't exist. Buildings may fall down, ministers move on, music may go out of tune, and beliefs may falter. No matter, we are this church. Without us, it is nothing, but with us, it can be anything. We, the members of the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Austin, welcome you into our midst as we share with you the joys and expectations of membership in our congregation. We offer our support to you, pledging to encourage you in any way we can. We make no creedal demand, believing that each person continually develops personal theology and that we are called to live ethical lives. Together, we search, we serve, we grow, and we love. We invite you to join us as we live out our mission. Reverently, we covenant together to seek and promote a vision of right relationship, the deepening of character, and service in the world. We begin with ourselves as we are, and we come together to support and maintain this free religious community. We welcome you, new members, with love, support, and encouragement. Let's hear it for them, folks. Man, I love you guys. That's so cool. Thanks, guys. After the service, please join us for social hour where we'll have enough cake, celebratory cake for everyone. Thank you.
Our reading is Surviving Through Reciprocity by Robin Wall Kimmerer. This is an excerpt from Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teachings of Plants. Scientists are interested in how the marriage of alga and fungus occurs, and so they've tried to identify the factors that induce two species to live as one. But when researchers put the two together in the laboratory and provide them with ideal conditions for both alga and fungus, they gave each other the cold shoulder and proceeded to live separate lives in the same culture dish, like the most platonic of roommates. The scientists were puzzled and began to tinker with the habitat, altering one factor and then another, but still no lichen. It was only when they severely curtailed the resources, when they created harsh and stressful conditions, that the two would turn toward each other and begin to cooperate. Only with severe need did the hyphae curl around the alga. Only when the alga was stressed did it welcome the advances. When times are easy and there's plenty to go around, individual species can go it alone. But when conditions are harsh and life is tenuous, it takes a team sworn to reciprocity to keep life going forward. In a world of scarcity, interconnection and mutual aid become critical for survival. So say the lichen.
A little over 30 years ago, I headed off to Norland's Living History Center in Livermore, Maine. I had recently graduated from college with a double major in history and anthropology. I was especially interested in museum education and historical archaeology. And after 17 years of schooling, I was especially interested in not spending most of my days reading, researching, and writing. So it was that with great excitement and a little trepidation, I headed off to live and work on a historic farm. While we had some hidden access to modern amenities like running water, real bathrooms, minimal heat and electricity, we interns, of which I was one, lived as if the year was 1870 most of the time. As it was a working farm, chores needed to be done, whether visitors were present or not, and they were divided by gender. Much of the time, I was the only woman intern. I rose early, dressed in my 19th century costume, walked half a mile uphill from the 1795 house in which I was living to the main area of the farm. I milked the cow, fed the chickens, collected eggs, pasteurized milk, made butter and cottage cheese, did all the cooking on a wood stove, weeded the garden, and so on. Fall was a time of harvesting, canning, making apple cider, bottling hard cider. Winter brought lots of snow and ice, horse-drawn sleigh rides, and cutting 2-foot thick ice from the pond for the ice house. I taught school in the one-room schoolhouse, danced in the barn on Saturday nights, made homemade ice cream, and finished off crazy quilts. I assisted with the births of piglets and a calf. And when visitors weren't around to see, I had the opportunity to try my hand at the men's chores too, like driving the team of oxen to pick rocks on the fields before they were plowed and splitting wood. And yes, I learned there were some very practical reasons for that old-fashioned division of labor. Most of all, though, I was amazed at how much I had learned to do, how empowered I felt, how self-reliant I had become. I imagined that I could homestead someday if I wanted to. I was taken in by this feeling of independence. And then I got sick, really sick. And I learned that feeling of independence was just a feeling. That in some ways, all that self-reliance was just an illusion. I was the last of the interns to come down with whatever it was. I became feverish, weak, and beyond exhausted. The director of the museum had to take me home down the hill to that 1795 house, get me inside, start the fire in the wood stove, and make sure I had plenty of wood right next to the stove. I fell into bed and slept, getting up only to put more wood in the fire or use that hidden bathroom. And at some point during that time, I began to feel better enough to think, and I realized how totally and utterly dependent I was on other human beings. If I were all alone, I would not have been able to make it outside through all the snow over to the woodshed and brought in all that wood. I would have frozen, become hypothermic. Remember what I said last week, those of you who are here, about how our lived experiences are the raw material, the scripture from which we build our theology? I was not yet a minister, had not yet been to seminary or even graduate school, and had not been raised UU. Though, as Kelly Pratt, I attended an 1870 Universalist meeting house on Sundays, I had not yet been exposed to the Unitarian Universalism of the modern day, or its principles, or its values. I knew nothing of the interdependent web and was not familiar with the concept of interdependence. I was fascinated by these ideas of and feelings about independence and dependence, how both could be true at the same time. I did have a lot of survival skills, and I did need other people in order to survive. I had experienced, in a very in-your-face kind of way, the concept, the reality of interdependence. Revelation was not sealed. We humans are just like the algae and the fungi of this morning's reading. Fairly independent when resources are plentiful, fairly dependent when resources are scarce, and totally interdependent with each other, with the earth, and with all of life, all of the time. And we people of First UU Austin are like the people in this morning's story, a community in which each person has a role to play, each person is needed, and each person needs each other. It is all together that we become whole. As Unitarian Universalists, we often place a high value on individuals hearing a call, finding a purpose, seeking fulfillment, and so on. Sometimes we just want to be helpful or useful. It can be easy for us to focus on these roles as something of a higher purpose. But today, and especially because it is New Member Sunday, I want to ask all of us to focus on the opposite, on being helped, on allowing ourselves to be helped, myself included. I'd like us to think about how being served is of as much value as being of service. We all have different skills, different needs. We all go through times of joy and times of struggle. We all have times of service and times of being served. None of us should focus overly much on one or the other. Both are important. Balance is important. We are an interdependent community with each other, with the earth, with all of life. We all need one another in all the ways and all the time. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be. Now, let us rise together, either in body or spirit, and join in singing number 323, Break Not the Circle.
Break not the circle of enabling love, where people grow forgiven and forgiving. Break not the circle, make it wider still, till it includes embracing all the living. Come wonder at this love that comes to life, where words of freedom are with humor spoken, and people keep no score of wrong and guilt, but will that human bonds remain unbroken.
Would you join me now in reading the words for the extinguishing of the chalice? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we hold in our hearts until we are together again.
These closing words are some of my absolute favorite, and they are by the Reverend Peter Rabel. We build on foundations we did not lay. We warm ourselves by fires we did not light. We sit in the shade of trees we did not plant. We drink from wells we did not dig. We profit from persons we did not know. This is as it should be. Together we are more than any one person could be. Together we can build across generations. Together we can renew our hope and faith in the life that is yet to unfold. Together, we can heed the call to a ministry of care and justice. We are ever bound in community. May it always be so. Go now in peace, with love in your hearts, kindness on your lips, and compassion at your fingertips, blessing all others as you yourselves are now blessed. Amen, and blessed be.